Two, three, four. The hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Sometimes you go over the top rope and you bang your head on the ring apron. Why do you do that? That's when you feel like a big dope. They're the worst bumps you can be taking. Oh, it's the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Now double claps. Clap, clap. Hey, Bob Squad. I'm back after 3 weeks of not doing this. I'll tell you why soon. The hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da. Whoa. Yay. What are we bushwhacking our way through? Bob Squad, how the hell are you? What am I doing right now? I'm doing the hardest part of the ring. It has been a minute, has it not? Since we have done one of these. And I'm doing one of these for the first time ever. Not the WWE Monday Night Raw, but the Hulu edition. The Hulu edition. A WWE Smackdown from November 11th, Friday, 2022. Apparently Hulu puts the Smackdowns up the day after as well. And frankly, the thing is, here's the thing with Monday Night Raw. In the last 100 days since Triple H took over, I do believe this show is the best it's been in a couple of years. However, the difference is not good enough for me to be interested in talking about it. Because I'm making the same criticisms and I'm giving the same compliments every week. And I'm not really looking forward to watching the show with notes. For that show, I think I need the freedom to fast forward it. And let's just try something else. Let me look at some different characters. I mean, the main champion is on the other show, Roman Reigns on SmackDown, so why don't I just watch that one and just look at new wrestlers for a little bit? So I took a few weeks off from doing Raw. I just didn't feel like it. I'd watch the show and I'd fast forward through stuff. And I was just so blah after it, just so half asleep. I just didn't want to. I just couldn't bring myself to hit record and talk about it. We're going to try this. Notes. I got my notes. So here we go, guys. The WWE Hulu edition of SmackDown for November 11th, 2022, with limited commercial interruption, not limited enough, and we opened the show. I'm glad this didn't change. I'm glad there was something familiar at the beginning of the show, because we opened SmackDown with Hulk Hogan slamming Andre the Giant. I'm so glad it did not go any other way. Then there was a package, a big, long, blue-veined, throbbing package smacking us in the face. Roman Reigns and Logan Paul at Crown Jewel. Roman Reigns defeated Logan Paul in a whole big thing in Saudi Arabia. I watched that. I didn't feel like talking about it either, frankly. Nothing to write home about, and why would I waste my mother's time? Then we have a bad theme song, and then the Usos music hits, and that tells you they're having their big featured match first. It's Usos versus New Day. Usos are the WWE Tag Team Champions, and the Usos are about to break New Day's record for longest reigning WWE Tag Team Champions ever. And New Day has this title shot, to stop them from breaking their record. And right away, there's something I loved, and this is a very Triple H thing that Vince McMahon and co. got away from for years and years. I saw packages for Crown Jewel. I didn't see anything beating us over the head with it. And here is a fancy logo telling you the New Day and the Usos will wrestle now. They just gave you like that 1-2 seconds maybe hanging in the air. There's the crowd, there's the noise, Usos music and entrance and graphics, whatever. And you find out what the first match is through the entrance. And it's just that mini surprise. It's very small, but to me it's very important. I think giving away the first match of the pay-per-view during the pre-show of a pay-per-view it just kills it for me. And they've already got the pay-per-view. Or when they what's even worse, oh my god, when they tell us who drew number one already in the Royal Rumble before the Royal Rumble starts. God, that's boring. Oh, I hate that. Don't do that ever. And likewise, who won a special thing to get number 30 or whatever. Yeah, stop that. They didn't do that. Usos and New Day had a pretty good match. At one point, Wade Barrett mentioned the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express, so that was very cool. Big comeback. Michael Cole was great here. There was I think Xavier Woods' first hot tag. Michael Cole was on fire during that and calling all the action fast and furious. It was very good. The Usos do win this. They have Xavier Woods knocked over a barricade, and they get Kofi Kingston to jump off the top rope and fall into their move, the 1D, which is a takeoff of the Dudley's 3D. And 1, 2, 3, Kofi loses. We all knew Usos were winning this. That was kind of a no-brainer. The Usos still insist on doing their double splash from the top rope, where it never looks right. It never looks good. If they both land in a good spot, then the timing's off. If the timing is on, they both land in crazy spots. It just never worked for me, quite honestly. But Usos win. Congratulations. There is a World Cup, apparently. There's a World Cup tournament. The winner gets to wrestle Gunther, but it's a World Cup because they deliberately have a bunch of wrestlers from different countries in the world, so that's what qualifies you, is just being from somewhere. I don't understand it, but either way, they have an international enough roster to do it, but it's just a weird way to qualify someone for a championship. But we have matches from that. But before we start one of those, and we will shortly, the Usos are back. And again, this isn't as funny as a lot of these things usually are. I'm reviewing SmackDown for the first time ever, so please bear with me. I will try to make this more amusing once I start to get the hang of the show. There were a lot of things that threw me off. But the Usos are backstage, or they enter backstage, and Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman are all in leather furniture, and the Usos have all their title belts, and Roman Reigns pretends he's mad, but then he's actually happy, and everyone says, "I love you." I'm not kidding. That's what happened. Santos Escobar comes to the ring with Zelina Vega and Pee Wee Herman, apparently. This Mexican dude has two stooges, and one of them dresses exactly like Pee Wee Herman. Am I the first to call this out, or is this the first week he's dressed like Pee Wee Herman? And this is one of the few times I actually wished Corey Graves was on commentary, because he wouldn't let it go. I know he wouldn't be able to let it go. But no one mentioned Pee Wee's Playhouse. No one mentioned any big adventures. No one said, "I know you are, but what I am." No, what are you? Yeah, no, what is it? God damn it. I know you are, but what am I? And no one whacked off in a movie theater. Had to stop. Couldn't stop. Santos Escobar wrestles Shinsuke Nakamura, who is dressed like a banana. And there's a lot of distractions. And during the match, they mentioned that Shinsuke Nakamura will wrestle the Great Muta on New Year's Day in Japan on part of Great Muta's retirement tour. Really unusual, or just something we're not used to, the WWE wrestlers being allowed to do that sort of thing, and then mentioning it on TV, especially when the Great Muta was on the AEW TV a month or two ago. But let me take a sip of Wild Cherry Pepsi Zero. Hold on a second. Mm. Wow, that is good Wild Cherry Pepsi Zero. And what you can do, Bob Squad, this hasn't changed. We can go from Raw to SmackDown. We can go from SmackDown to NXT. We can go from NXT to Survivor Series, the Crown Jewel, to WrestleMania. We can go out through the back door, into the front door. We can bounce off the walls. We can jump off the ceiling. We can go east to the Pacific Ocean, west to London, England, south to Mars, and north to hell. But either way, you can still enjoy the cool taste of Wild Cherry Pepsi Zero with none of the sugar, none of the calories as regular Wild Pepsi. Go to PepsiCola.com/Wild Cherry /Pepsi Zero. Enter the promo Bob Squad. Chris Meanwhile, tell them what happens. That's right. Absolutely nothing. Not a goddamn thing happens. You were on the ball there. Good job. You were fast. Oh, Mark, pay attention. Okay. Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah, Santos beats Nakamura. There's a lot of distractions. There's Pee Wee Herman and Zelina Vega at ringside, and who wouldn't be distracted by the really hot chick in some kind of video game cosplay, and the guy whacking off in a movie theater. So Nakamura is so distracted by the guy whacking off in a movie theater, he falls victim to the Phantom Driver, off the second rope, DVD into a sit-out. God, that's too many things. But anyway, he gets dumped on his head after a big move from the top rope or something. But next we go to the six-pack challenge, where everyone drinks a six-pack Miller High Life, the champagne of beers. No, they do not. It is 6 women versus each other, and the winner wrestles Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series. And we see Liv Morgan enter, and then we start going to break, which leads me to believe those other 5 women are not going to win. We'll find out. But Liv Morgan, it's not working. The people are quieter than ever for Liv Morgan. They were so loud and nuts for her, and I think they just don't get it. I think she's supposed to be kind of like, now she's like a little pretty psycho girl because Ronda beat the shit out of her. Now she likes getting hurt or something. I don't buy it. And I think, what the hell is going on outside? There's another goddamn reggaeton party, and now people are running around upstairs. Ah, Jesus. Hold on. Pardon me, I belched out some Wild Cherry Pepsi Zero. None of the sugar or calories of regular Wild Cherry Pepsi. I'm not feeling the Liv Morgan thing, and I like her just fine, but I can't tell if she's a heel or a face. She's making heel faces to people. Is she really supposed to be a heel? And if so, where's the heat if she just does stunts that people cheer for? And I don't get it. I don't know what they're doing. I don't think she knows, and I don't think whoever told her what they're doing knows what they're doing. I think there's a lot of people that are. I think everyone put a hand in a cookie jar, but all the chips are at the bottom. I just thought of that now. Not bad, huh, Mark? Okay. I'm sorry, guys. That's got to be weird because this is pre-recorded. Anyway, we go to commercial, and the other 5 losers enter, and then, oh, this is interesting. This is interesting. First of all, and I'm glad this carried over from Monday Night Raw, we have a blonde lady. You have to have a blonde lady. And blonde lady says to LA Knight, I love this guy. I love this guy. Formerly Eli Drake in the Indies and NWA, blah, 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 blah. He's LA Knight. He's a lot of fun. Great old school heel. Everything, simple things, but everything he does it so well. I love listening to him talk. I love, let me talk to you. And yeah, doesn't make a goddamn lick of sense, but it's fun. I like it. Anyway, the blonde lady is distracted because the TV that just has a SmackDown logo in the back for no reason keeps flickering the Bray Wyatt logo, the creepy Bray Wyatt logo. And then LA Knight finally notices she's distracted, and LA Knight is yelling at the blonde lady. And finally, of course, the camera pans to the left, LA Knight's right, our left, and it pans back to our right, LA Knight's left. And Bray Wyatt's there, and Bray Wyatt is face to face with someone who isn't him in a mask. And it's exciting. And Bray Wyatt gives LA Knight a long, spooky speech about his anger, and LA Knight isn't having any of it. And he says something kind of dickheadish about Bray Wyatt and puppets and shoving puppets up his ass and romper room. I'm not kidding. All of this happened on a television program. And Bray Wyatt finally grits his teeth and he gives LA Knight a headbutt. That modern style headbutt where you don't put your hand on a guy's head. You just kind of do like a really, really fast chest bump and you probably clock faces anyway. But he did that and did it really up close, which looks a little weird, but he did it as well as he possibly could. And Bray is gone, and LA Knight, he doesn't sell it dead unconscious. He doesn't sell it cartoony, goofy like the Miz would. He gets up and he holds his face like he was as surprised as he was hurt, and then his pride's been injured most of all, and he yells something. So, my guess, I mean, I would love a Bray Wyatt LA Knight feud. My guess is it's really more still about Bray feuding with himself, and other heels are going to keep, such as LA Knight. Guys like LA Knight are going to keep Bray occupied before he inevitably wrestles himself, where this Captain Howdy thing comes to some kind of conclusion. I don't know. Uncle. Is it Uncle? Uncle. Captain Spaulding is Animal Crackers and the Rob Zombie movies. That's where Rob Zombie got it from. What else? Is there a Captain Howdy? Captain Howdy is Twisted Sister, and Uncle Howdy is Bray Wyatt. Boy Howdy is Jim Cornette. Oh, good God. How do you do? So I'm interested to see where it goes. For a week or two, I was soured on what Bray was doing. I loved it for like a week or two. I hated it for about 2 weeks, and now I'm interested again. So we're back on the upswing with Bray Wyatt. And then Shotzi enters on a tank. I should have known. Sloppy Blackheart. I don't think... Did they give her last name back yet? I forget. But Sloppy Blackheart has returned to this program. And she's driving her stupid tank down the ramp, and she has green hair. So here we are. Gremlins 2 is part of the... Remember that six-pack challenge that was supposed to happen like minutes ago. Well, they finally got around to it. They just didn't show 4 of the entrances, so that will be that. Oh, there's not a lot to say about this except one very obvious glaring thing. First of all, no one cared, no one reacted to anything until Raquel Rodriguez, who could not stop smiling, drags a table out from under the ring, and when she does anything, I'm somewhat aroused. And the table got a huge reaction and a chant. And that's not good. Because it makes all the wrestlers replaceable, and now you can pay them less and fire them or treat them like shit. Because the table is over, and the table costs $80 at Lowe's. God, Jesus Christ, guys. I hate using the word botch just because internet fans use it in an obnoxious way. Like anything that's not perfect is a botch. Like they don't understand how hard this shit is, especially on one take. But with that said, I hate saying the word botch. I'm going to say it. This is awful. This was a big bad botch. How do I explain it? Who knows? Raquel Rodriguez, who was smiling, sets up a table, and then she tries to powerbomb Sonya Deville off of some steps that Raquel had moved. But Raquel set up. I'm going to put this on Raquel. I think most people will put on Liv for not being athletic enough to hit it, but Raquel put the table 3 years away too, so this was just a bad idea. How do I put this? Raquel is actually not. She has her back to the table. Her well-defined muscular back that she keeps showing. Hold on. I'm belching up that orange chicken. I'm sorry, guys. I ordered Chinese food off Uber Eats, and I need them to make orange chicken because I can't make it. I'd make orange chicken just by leaving it out too long. Good God. The one time I told that joke at a Chinese buffet, the fortune cookie said, "You will be asked to leave." Have I told this joke before in some form or fashion? Bet you I have. I got a fortune cookie, and I didn't open it yet. I'll open it at the end of the program. I'll see what my fortune is. That sounds like fun. So Raquel Gonzalez is on some steps, and it looks like she's going to powerbomb Sonya Deville off the steps through the table, but Raquel's not facing the table. I don't know. But this is really just so Liv can jump off the barricade and try to high cross. I think she was trying to high cross body Raquel so that they both crash through the table together or something. So Sonya really had nothing to do in this spot. She just had to pretend she's going to get powerbombed and hang around. So this is really a Raquel and Liv thing. Liv falls short and barely hits Raquel as it is, and Raquel falls back, and neither one of them have the bulk of their torsos anywhere near the table. Like basically, I think Raquel's armpit and Liv's jaw pretty much bounce off the side of this freaking table, or something close to that nature anyway. So it was a big disaster, and everybody booed. There you go. Oh yeah, Shotzi Blackheart. To my surprise, Shotzi Blackheart sloppy wins the thing. Gremlins 2 is victorious. She pinned, as this disaster is going on the outside, Sloppy hits a wacky DDT onto Lacey Evans. 1, 2, 3. Who knew? And there's gonna be a backstage segment right after on the Hulu edition. Hulu edition, perhaps the regular edition had something else in between, but in the Hulu edition, we go straight to the back. Emma, who's Australian, is back. That's right, she came back a week or two ago, wrestled Ronda Rousey. Very pretty young lady is Emma. She's Australian or something, and she says, "Hey, Shotzi, I'm Australian. Have you seen..." She did not. "Have you seen Madcap Moss?" And Shotzi says, "Oh, you're crushing on Madcap Moss." Who the hell is Madcap Moss, you may ask? I couldn't explain it if I tried. But he's not on the Hulu edition of this program, just for the record. So she never found him. And if she did find him, she didn't find him on Hulu, with limited commercial interruption. So Emma pisses off, and then Shotzi's alone, and she turns, and there's Shayna Baszler, who's a big bad MMA fighter and a friend of Ronda Rousey. The two of them argue on whether or not Shotzi has a chance at Ronda. Shayna says, "Hey, Ronda's right there if you want to tell her off." Shotzi turns around, and Ronda's actually there to my surprise. Shayna chokes out Shotzi Blackheart, and Ronda's taunting Shotzi as Shotzi gets choked out. Ronda did a good job here, because it didn't sound scripted. I think they just told her just be an asshole to her or something, and it worked. And that was it. They left Shotzi on live TV. She has been choked out, and no one came to her aid, because it's just wrestling. Well, now it's just fake, so Good job, guys. Kayla Braxton is sexually attractive. She is back of stage. She is talking to Ricochet. Apparently, Ricochet was the Intercontinental Champion and lost it to Gunther. Who knew? Ricochet turns because Ricochet is part of the World Tournament. He's going to wrestle Ali at some point. Ricochet turns and there is Gunther. Gunther and his other friends are there. And Gunther says he hopes to beat up Ricochet again or something. And Jinder Mahal this is our second World Cup tournament match. The first one being Nakamura losing to Santos Escobar. Jinder Mahal lost to Braun Strowman. That's going to be Braun and Gunther. Good, just to have that stupid match. Jinder and Braun beat Jinder with a power bomb in like 2 or 3 minutes. There you go. Next was an odd segment because I didn't know what it was kayfabe supposed to be. But Zelina Vega is back in the top ropes and she's hanging out and she's taunting Hit Row, the group of the 2 rappers and B-Fab, the 3 rappers, I guess. This group was led by Isaiah Swerve Scott, who is now Strickland Swerve? What the hell is the guy's name? Is that it? Swerve Strickland. That sounds better. In AEW, I want to say. So the most talented in-ring and charismatic guy of the group is gone, so it's just them. Top Dollar is terrible. Anyway, the other guy's just kind of there, and B-Fab, it looks good. But, what was my point? Oh, they were a bunch of anti-vaxxers, I think. That's why they got fired the first time, like a year ago. None of them wanted to get the vaccine. I think B-Fab didn't want it. And they fired her because it was required at the time. And Top Dollar got mad and spoke up because he thought he had clout, and then they laughed and fired him. I think the other guy just guilty by association, but I think the Swerve guy was gone shortly before that or something. Okay. He was gone shortly after. Who the hell knows? Not important. Hit Row is there, and they lip sync to their song. Nobody cared. Good God, it was bad. It was bad. And then the lights go down, and the music is spooky, and Sarah Rowe is back, and she has like black soot like over the top half of her face. I have to be careful how I phrase that. But she has black paint on the face, but just the upper half, and I think it's supposed to be soot or dirt of some kind. It's not. Okay, let's just move on. Let's move on quickly. But she's a Viking. She's a Viking lady, a big bosomed Viking lady. And I know she had a baby. She's one of her, Lacey Evans, and Becky Lynch, and Candice LeRae are the four women on our roster who had babies and returned. Okay, Becky Lynch is injured at the moment, but you understand what I'm saying. They had to leave at one point for having babies. Their eggs were fertilized. Then they gave birth to a fetus. Okay, just so you understand what's happening on the show. That didn't happen on the show. Okay. My neighbor's showering, and I shouldn't know that, but I do because everything is loud. The Vikings with Sarah Rowe beat the crap out of Hit Row, and I guess so. I guess it was supposed to be a tag team match, and the Santos Escobar, his 2 friends, Pee Wee Herman and Pee Wee Herman's friend, the Genie or whatever, they got beaten up pretty much like off camera, so that we didn't see that. And the 2 Vikings beat the shit out of the Hit Row guys, including having to hike Top Dollar's pants up for him as they give him some kind of double power bomby thing. And the Vikings stand over everyone and spooky music plays. Let's move on to the Bloodline. So this is the fun thing about SmackDown. The Bloodline is so heads and tails above everything else going on. The Bloodline talking is the main event. Roman Reigns just existing and standing on TV doing nothing is the main event over all these other matches. And it's correct. It's the right thing to do because he's that much of a star next to everybody else and whatever everybody else is doing. Did I not charge my phone and I was going to film He-Man toys after this? Did I just totally ski up? That's not good. I'm going to have to think of something to do. I screwed up. We'll figure it out, guys. I'll open that fortune cookie. That should take up so much time. The bloodline is talking about being a bloodline, and Roman Reigns is giving a speech, and he's giving props to the Usos, and it seems like Roman Reigns is about to say, I acknowledge you to the Usos. And it's supposed to be this big moment, and the music interrupts. It's the Brawling Brutes. I'm not used to the Brawling Brutes. A big guy, big guy from, where the hell is that guy? Ridge Holland. I think he's Irish. Is he Irish or is he from the UK? One of those guys. Anyway, I think he's Irish, and he's the guy who dropped Big E on his head, and broke his neck or something. It's him and Pete Dunne, who's still Butch, and Butch has an old timey cap on, like he's selling newspapers in the '30s, and we don't know what that is. And anyway, they say they don't like the bloodline, and Sheamus has returned. I guess Sheamus was out for some time, but Sheamus, his microphone isn't working, and this is live, so they just air it. And Sheamus is telling off Roman, and Roman, hey, he worked with it. He's laughing. He says, I shouldn't worry about you. You can't even get your microphone to work. And everyone laughs, and Sheamus, the baby, now he's a baby face. He looks kind of dumb, but anyway, the three of them in charge, the four Samoans. I don't know where Sami Zayn was. We know he doesn't go to Crown Jewel. He doesn't go to the Saudi Arabia things. No idea where he was on this day. But I hope he returns soon. And there were plenty of Sami Uso chants to show the fans share the same sentiment. So the three brawling guys, three brawling European guys, or maybe Ridge is Scottish. This way we have an Irish, a Scottish, and a British guy. Anyway, they're all getting they're beat up because it's 4-3, so they don't last long. Drew McIntyre's music hits, so now it's two Scots and an Irish guy and a British guy, and all of them walk into a ring, and the bartenders and they're fighting all the Samoans, and they clear the house. They clear house of all the bad guys. Actually, no, they don't clear house. They wouldn't dare go off the air with Bloodline looking bad. Everyone's just brawling, and the credits roll. That's the end of the show. That was the first SmackDown I reviewed. What do I think? I'll tell you what I think. It's a weird time to jump into SmackDown because it's also going through some changes. SmackDown seems this show in particular seems very good at teasing a lot of stuff without telling me exactly what's going on, but making me curious. Bray Wyatt and LA Knight was a good example of that, and what this Viking team does now is a good example of that. And we need new tag teams. I lost my voice to the Wild Cherry Pepsi Zero. And the tag team scene is shot in the entire company because of the Usos, and they can't lose it now and everything else. I would hold off on Usos losing to anybody. If it were me, if I had my druthers, because people still react wildly to Sami Zayn and his antics with the Bloodline, despite Sami not being here, which is really odd. I don't know why that is. But I would think a Sami fuck-up would eventually cost the Usos the titles to somebody. And that leads to turning on Sami to the Usos, and Samoans would ever taking it out on Sami and kicking him out and yada yada yada, tearing up his honorary use shirt and yada yada yada. And somehow Sami ends up wrestling Roman at the Rumble. Of course, Roman's still going to win, but it would be the closest near falls 2 7/8 all the way, and just tease, just make us believe it for a few minutes that it might happen. So that's my best guess as to what to do. If you're a team like the Vikings and you just laid waste to two tag teams, that's great. Where do you go? You wrestle the Usos and lose. There's nowhere to go. And I think they've already been wrestling New Day like on and off for several months for the bulk of this year. So are they going to beat up the New Day? They're going to beat up the team that just lost the big match. Like, okay, I'm assuming they're just going to run right through Top Dollar and the Adonis guy with the glasses or something. I don't really know. But this episode was just kind of here. It didn't feel like a bigger, more important SmackDown episode. 2 weeks ago, they had the big Usi one where everyone cracked and everyone in the ring was laughing at the silliness of it, and there was a whole thing. And 1 week ago, I think it was a throwaway episode because the next day was Crown Jewel. So, who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? Maybe they're still getting back on track. I hope Sami Zayn returns because the show needs it. There's no baby faces anyone cares about. Biggest baby face on the show is Sami Zayn. He wasn't on this week. None they care about Bray, but can you call Bray a baby face, or what the hell is Bray doing? When Bray walked into that screen, people went loud. People got loud. And I like Bray. I don't think he should be in a world title picture, not if he's feuding with himself. It's just too... I think it just hurts Roman's credibility, honestly. That's how I feel. All in all, a good... Wow, this is a long one. All in all, a good first week. I thank you. I hope you get a chance right before this to check out episode 4A, or part 1 of episode 4 of the Go To Motu, the Sunbob videos. Both of these parts, 4A and 4B, are called He's Finally Here. So you can do the math however you want to on those. But there you go. But hopefully my phone charges. Hey, I went from 10 to 11%. Oh, we're flying. Oh, that sucks. That's kind of a waste. I'm going to find something else to do. That's productive. We're going to open the fortune cookie. All right. Ready? It says, learn Chinese, nice. And then lucky numbers, 18, 12. Just read the other side, Bob. Okay. This is my fortune from some Chinese restaurant. I didn't even look at the name. I just hit Uber Eats and said, I'm done. Bring me my food. Because the Hawaiian place was packed when I got there. The fortune cookie reads, you will enjoy true success in whatever you do. I don't know about that. Sounds like some bullshit. Okay, thank you so much for joining me on the Hulu Smackdown edition of the hardest part of the ring. The hardest part of the ring. Ba-da-ba-da.